So I think he has a history of making these kinds of incredibly inflammatory comments about Iran, and then his judgment about the situation there is absolutely wrong. Absolutely wrong. If Barack Obama did what the Republicans are suggesting, or at least some of the Republicans are suggesting right now, this would give the best excuse the hardliners in Iran need to unleash hell, basically, on the demonstrators and on the opposition. Mm-hmm. And I just pray that that doesn't happen.
Just start sort of general. I'd love to get your perspective on the current conflict in Iran, observations that you've made, updates that you have, maybe that people aren't seeing in mainstream American press, that sort of thing. What is your general impression of what's happening?
Well, obviously, it's quite an explosive situation. It's unprecedented in the regime's history, and I think it's one of those defining moments that's going to change the rules of the game in terms of how much pressure the regime can actually exert on people going forward. But I think what's more even interesting is the division that this whole situation has now created amongst the clergy themselves, which may mark actually the end of this regime as we currently know it. There was news out of Iran today that the ex-president Rafsanjani, who heads up this very powerful, I think it's called the Assembly of Experts, and this is a group that is comprised of about 86 members, and they oversee the activities of the Supreme Leader. And they're the group that have the power to remove the Supreme Leader from his position. And the news out of Iran today was that he, in fact, Rafsanjani, may indeed have enough backing and support and votes in the Assembly of Experts to remove Khatami, mm-hmm. or Khamenei, I'm sorry, mm-hmm. Which is quite interesting. So, and everybody talks about so one of the questions I keep getting is whether this election was rigged, and I don't think that question really matters at this point. I think what matters is what we have been seeing in the last few days, which was, I guess, sort of anger bottled up for 30 years of repression, oppression, and what this regime had done to the people of Iran. And I guess Mousavi was really a catalyst for sort of uncorking that bottle, and that's what we're seeing. Now, I think what's going to be interesting is how Mousavi responds going forward, whether he decides to stay silent, which I don't think he would do. I think what I heard just today was that he's threatening that if he's arrested, there should be a general strike in Iran. So all of that is really interesting to watch and to observe. It's really unprecedented in the regime's history.
Mm-hmm. An Iranian-American blogger said on CNN Sunday that if President Obama recognizes Mahmoud Ahmadinejad as the president, she said that she was told by people within Iran who were, involved in the protest, that if Obama recognizes him as president, that will kill the movement. What's your assessment of, for the lack of a better word, the pickle that the president is in right now?
I would have a very difficult time believing that this movement can be stopped just because Obama recognizes Ahmadinejad. Sometimes people, I think, overestimate the influence of the U.S. and underestimate the power and the energy and the momentum that this situation already has. This is not about the U.S. This is not about Obama. This is about Iran, and this is about what's going on in Iran, what has been happening in Iran in the last 30 years. Obama's support of the demonstrators, not interference, support, expression of support, would be very much appreciated, but I don't think that the lack of it would kill the movement. It hasn't killed it in the last 30 years, and I don't think it would kill it now.
So I would take it that you reject the claim by some progressives here in the United States that the protests are CIA-inspired.
I think that is absolutely a ridiculous claim. Now, we know that for years the CIA and the U.S. have been involved in Iran and have been trying to destabilize the regime, to destabilize the Iranian currency, to perhaps support the separatist movements in Balochistan and in Kurdistan, in Azerbaijan, and some of those areas. But to claim that these protests are sponsored or supported by the CIA is really falling for exactly what the current Iranian regime and Mr. Ahmadinejad wants us to believe, which is, this is not people. It's really minimizing what is happening in Iran. I think I'm surprised that progressives, would fall for something like that.
Mm-hmm. What do you suppose the demonstrators in particular, want ultimately out of the situation? I saw some headline or some quote from a protester saying, "We're not really looking for a whole new revolution here. We just want our votes to count," or something like that. Is that an accurate assessment, or is there something bigger that might see systemic changes in the Iranian government?
Well, I think that, I agree. I think that they're not really asking for much. They're asking for their rights. They're asking for their votes to be counted. They're asking for a bit more freedom, freedom of press, freedom of speech. They want to make sure that when they have parties, the Revolutionary Guard doesn't just break in and come in and arrest their kids and take them to jail because they're drinking alcohol or they're dancing. They want to be able to listen to music when they want to. They want to read whatever book they want to without somebody interfering in that. They're asking for normal freedom that other people around the world in many countries already enjoy, and they have been deprived of. Now, whether there are obviously there are many groups who are involved in this game, and are some of them asking for a regime change? I absolutely think so. I think there are some, pro ex-Shah people who would love nothing more than seeing this regime go. There are mujahideen out there who would love for this regime to go. Now, some of those elements, some of those people, I'm sure, also protesting and are in Tehran. So I think there's a diversity of opinion there. Some would probably want this regime to go right away. Some probably would say, just give us some freedom and we could live with you.